Good morning.
Good
Or,
evening.
Um, it's sunny today.
I know.
I should maybe say to our listeners is that although you get the podcast on Mondays, we're recording this today on Saturday, and it's a very sunny morning where we are.
Which is surprising because it hasn't been... Well, it has been kind of sunny, but very cold sunny.
Yes, indeed.
And it snowed and hailed.
Indeed.
So it's been a lot of seasons in like a very short period of time.
Yes, well, this is the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
Renowned for that.
Yeah, so maybe after this we should go outside for a walk.
A walk.
Walk.
Right. I have other things I need to do today, but...
Because it's been very cold. I haven't been for a walk in a while because I've been too cold.
I'm too busy.
I'm too busy, to be fair. Yeah. I've been very busy.
What have you been busy doing
then? Writing. Being creative.
Being creative.
Creative. Just in general.
Yeah, not an easy thing you can just switch on and off, is it?
No. I have my own process. I feel like everyone has their own process, so...
Are you going to tell us what yours is?
I feel like it changes from time to time.
Right. Depending on one's mood or the weather or...
Yeah. The shop's open this week.
Swiftly changing the subject away from creative process to, and the shops are open, hurrah!
We can have a whole...
I don't need to be creative, I can go shopping instead.
No, it's just I was trying to think of what I've done this week. I went to the shops on Monday. Nothing too exciting because we don't live anywhere that has... Also, I didn't need anything, I just wanted to...
Just engage in the social process.
Yeah, so I just went to the charity shop and that's pretty much it.
The charity shops are quite overwhelmed at the moment. As you know, I took some books to the charity shop and they basically saying, we can't accept any more today. We've had so many donations, which is good. But people, I think, have been using the time of lockdown to
clean out their stuff.
Clear out stuff and what have you.
As have we.
As have we. It's a kind of cathartic clearing out exercise.
Yeah. So that was it. That was my excitement.
Good.
And I saw in the news people going to Primark and queuing for hours, going to pubs. None of that excitement.
We haven't been to a pub yet.
Also, it was far too cold anyway. Why would I want to go and sit outside in the cold?
So you can drink.
Well, also, I can't see my friends. Maybe if I could see my friends, I'd be a bit more interested in doing that.
Yeah.
But I can't, so hee.
Well, no.
Also, we tried to book a meal.
Yes,
and it was all
we
booked.
It was fully booked. That was for yesterday, for Friday.
Yeah. So.
And it was fully booked even in the small place where we live.
People are going crazy. And there was a queue. When I went into the charity shop, when I came out, there was a queue of people waiting to go in.
Oh, because there's like 5 or 6 at a time in the shop,
yeah.
Right.
Which I thought was crazy.
Crazy.
But yeah, I bought a nice dress and a nice jumper.
Oh, yes, you bought that green dress, I remember.
So
and
maybe...
the blue jumper.
Now the weather's nice.
Can't wear them together. Blue and green should never be seen except on the back of an Irish queen.
Who says that?
Well, I just said it.
Did you make it up or is it?
I didn't make it up. It's an Irish saying.
So you didn't make it up?
No, I didn't make it up. It's an Irish saying.
Right.
Long historical provenance.
So I can't wear it because I'm not Irish?
No, you can't wear blue and green together. It's essentially what the thing is saying.
Right. Okay.
It's a fashion statement.
Oh. Right.
Actually, I think blue and green actually goes quite well together.
Yeah, I don't see why not. Anyway, I can try them together and see if it works.
Yeah, I'm not sure how good the jumper will look on top of the skirt, the dress. Sorry, it actually, it might look quite good.
Might do. Did you go to any of the shops?
I popped into the charity shops, as you well know. I went into 2 charity shops, specifically looking for some replacement dinner plates. Because although I like the ones we have, they're getting, well, they're older than you are, and they're showing the wear of time, a bit like me, really. And if we see some jolly plates, I might look to replace them. But at the end of the day, I can live
All
with them.
very
It
exciting,
is. I mean,
riveting.
it's absolutely hugely exciting. I should imagine that it's been leaked to the press and will soon appear, on the front page of the newspapers. That the fact that I've been looking for dinner plates in charity shops.
I think maybe because I never have been a big shopping person, like I wouldn't do it and necessarily enjoy it, so I feel like I don't care.
Well, you're right. I mean, with some people, it really is a social event. It's almost a hobby. And maybe because I feel
Maybe we need to go to the...
that you should only shop when you've got something very specific that you need to buy. There's no point just going to the shop for the sake of looking around. I don't like window shopping, if you see what I mean. I don't like drifting around malls on the chance that you might see something that you're interested in. Yeah, shopping malls.
Shopping
It's an
mall.
Americanism.
It's a mall.
I was pronouncing it. I thought isn't that how the Americans pronounce it? A mall. Shopping always a mall. Wow, whatever. Anyway,
Shopping
place.
centre.
Centre, yes, much better. Shopping centre. Precinct. And so probably as a child, I never dragged you around such places. So maybe it's not in your blood.
No, I do sometimes enjoy it, but it's not my priority to
You
do.
used to go and meet your school friends in shopping centres when you were younger.
Yeah, once shopping centre.
Oh, a shopping centre.
Yes. But we didn't buy... No, we didn't buy anything. Maybe we bought food.
It was just a place where you would congregate.
Yeah, because A, it's kind of safer. B, you're not out in the cold if it's cold. Oh, there was a cinema as well, so we would sometimes watch a film and then have food. And there was bowling.
All entertainment just there in one place.
Yeah, and just walking around. I don't know. I don't know why we thought it was... I think maybe our parents felt a bit safer because we were kind of in one contained area, I guess.
Well, yeah, but with lots of other people.
Yeah, but as opposed to being out in town where you can kind of go anywhere. Does that make sense?
It kind of makes sense, although I think it's a bit of a false perception of safety.
Yeah, well, you need a false perception of safety.
So what else has been in the news this week apart from the shops opening and the pubs opening? And
Prince
us
Philip.
not being able to... Oh, Prince Philip, yes, he's dead. Being his funeral's today, which I'm sure will be splashed over all of the papers tomorrow.
Yep.
Not quite a state funeral per se, but clearly an important event for the royal family.
I don't know if we even have to talk about it. There's so many news about it.
I know we don't really need to
It's
talk about it at
everywhere.
all.
The big question is...
Who's going to have to talk to Prince Harry?
I know. I feel bad for him.
Well,
We have very
you
different
feel bad for
opinions.
him. Sorry,
I
he
don't
pulled
feel...
it on himself.
Oh, right, I don't think we should talk about this either. We have conflicting opinions on this.
Well, I don't think he will be.
When the Meghan interview aired, we had a bit of a shouting
We didn't shout.
disagreement.
I do not shout.
You raised your voice and I raised mine back.
Yes. And that's because she was talking nonsense.
I am not having this conversation. I don't think depending on our demographic, I'm not sure you will be liked if you voice your opinion on disliking Meghan.
It's not about disliking her. It was the fact that she stated an opinion about whether or not her son should be called a prince, which shows a distinct lack of knowledge about who is and who isn't named a prince, which, to be honest, has been known for long before Meghan even met Harry.
Okay, so you're just mad at her because...
Well, no, if she wants to delude herself, then that's up to her.
Fine. I think people can say something and people can misconstrue it and understand it however they wish. Same as what we're saying. Someone can take what we're saying and understand it completely differently. So I heard what she said and understood it based on my own interpretation, and you understood it based on your interpretation, and the news media interpreted it completely differently. So
let's just leave it there then.
Yeah. I don't know if people want to hear about this, so...
No. So moving on from the royal family to...
We can talk about Andrew. We have similar opinions about him. When's the trial coming up? The Epstein trial.
I have absolutely no idea when it's...
And what would happen if he does get arrested?
Well, if he gets arrested, he gets arrested.
But would he be in jail here or in America?
Oh, not here. He hasn't...
That's very scandalous.
Committed a crime here.
That's very scandalous.
Well, he may well have committed a crime here, but that's not what's at issue. The issue is for something that he has allegedly done in the States.
Although surely if it's in America, he could just pay loads of money and be under house arrest or something.
Well, that completely depends, obviously.
With a little beeper on his...
That depends on the judge, obviously, and what the court finds. But that assumes that he's ever brought to court in the first place.
Oh, that would be some scandal.
Well, yes, it would.
Oh. Interesting. Very interesting. I would say the worst scandal the royal family's had, to have someone accused and possibly jailed, isn't it?
Well, depends how far you go back in time. I mean, Edward the Fourth obviously accused his brother George of treason and essentially had him put to death.
I see. I don't know much of the further back history. Treason?
Yes. Plotting against him. Had his own brother killed.
I think treason is quite a funny...
He was drowned in a barrel. Which was actually...
but how can you have evidence of treason?
One of the ways of executing people.
How can you have evidence of treason?
Well, if you're talking about the times of... the 15th, 16th century, of course, it's pretty much what the king says. If you're accused of treason by the monarch, there's very little way of fighting your way out.
So there's no evidence. It's not like you can find letters and base it on like letters to the enemy.
No. If you think of Anne Boleyn's trial, one of the wives of Henry VIII, I mean, evidence was presented. I mean, it wouldn't necessarily be seen as a fair trial in today's eyes, but at least there was a process. Whereas if you're talking about the times of Edward IV, very often people would be executed for treason without hardly any trials at all.
Oh, like in the Pirates of the Caribbean?
Well, Hastings, for example, was executed for treason under Richard III. With no trial whatsoever. Realistically, it could be said almost to be near an execution just for the sake of an execution. So
sounds so weird to me.
The point I'm trying to make is even people who were accused of treason, there had to be at least some semblance of a trial. Even a trial itself might be rather jaundiced and biased. You still have a legal process through which to go through. Anyway, we're getting off the point again. But so the point is that, yes, if Andrew is jailed, or even for that matter, brought to trial...
Yeah, even just the court I think the whole implication.
That will be sensational.
And the problem is he's dug his hole even worse anyway with that interview he did.
Which was bizarre.
Years ago? When was it? I can't remember now.
Was it a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
2017?
I remember
18?
I did watch it live.
I didn't.
And you weren't here. I think I was here. And I initially wasn't interested. And then I can't remember. I think various people were texting me saying, "Oh, are you going to watch?
You have to watch it." Yeah.
And so I didn't watch it at the beginning. I turned it on after it started, and it was one of these occasions where you're kind of like jaw was almost
just
hitting the
please
ground.
stop.
I can't believe
Make
you
it
just
stop.
said that. Yeah,
make it stop.
And you just have to wonder, what kind of advice did he get? If any.
I'm curious, like, did they not say, right, let's have a do-over, do it again. This is not how you reply. This was a trial run of what not to say.
Yeah.
Let's redo the whole thing.
I know.
Because I kind of think that, they're meant to not have opinions, not have feelings towards things very often. They're meant to be very kind of non-opinionated, the royals,
I think he thought that somehow by going public, shall we say, on this and giving a frank and full live interview, was it live? I don't know. Well, anyway, an interview, that he would somehow exonerate himself and all the suspicion and so on would just fall apart. But it just seemed to make matters
he made it
far
worse. Which is stupid. Maybe I think sometimes really privileged people have no sense of reality.
Well, a friend of ours was saying that the other day. When you've got so much money, you're so used to just problems going away.
Yeah, and being kind of out of touch of what I think, I think that's one problem I have with the royal family, is that they are a bit out of touch of common people's issues or modern day things, or what is now considered incorrect. So I think maybe he doesn't understand that what he's implying is not okay anymore, if that makes sense. I don't know.
It makes sense, but again, I almost can't believe that he doesn't understand that. I almost cannot. I literally cannot understand it. I cannot understand, regardless of what he did, the actions he took supposedly to put it all right. It's just bizarre.
No, it didn't make sense. His advisors definitely must have got fired. His publicist or something.
They must have been sitting watching it, with their head in their hands, thinking, "I can't believe he just said that. What is this? Did we not agree before that this is what you would say?" And I don't know. Incredibly badly rehearsed, advised. Anyway, yeah. Maybe in future, it could be used as a training video on how not to give an interview.
Yeah, how not to do it. See, maybe Meghan saw that and said, "I'm not going to do that."
Meghan's an actress, and a very
But
good
you had
actress.
to say she was very well spoken, though.
Yes, and an actress, as she once said, "I can cry on demand."
When did she say that?
Oh, years ago. It was one of her things that she was very proud about in her acting.
Right. And the press dug this up in reference to her interview then?
I wouldn't know.
Well, then you've clearly heard this, or you clearly read it somewhere.
Oh, yes, I have read it.
That's what I mean. So the press are now digging up her old interviews to discredit what she's currently talking about.
Why discredit? But
anyway, the good thing...
That's suggesting a biased opinion.
Anyway, I'm not going back to that interview. The good thing is Piers Morgan quit.
Yeah, well, that shows you that at least some good things can come out of bad.
So there we go. That was something.
I'm quite sure he'll get another job mouthing people off.
Ugh. He's a... What? Ugh.
What?
He's an idiot.
I don't think he is an idiot. I think he's actually a very clever man who has made a very successful career out of being controversial. I don't think he's an idiot. He knows exactly when he's being controversial because that's what people like to hear. It's a bit like
but he's not
some of
just...
these other figures. What's the guy who was in Top Gear?
Yeah, he's very arrogant and everything.
Well, yes, but that becomes then part of his persona.
Yeah, but I just don't think they're good people to have on such big platforms.
Well, that's part of the problem with the media circus is that, unfortunately, media seem to like these outspoken people.
Because the problem is he's speaking over other outspoken people. Like, if you see him on the things, he's speaking over everyone, so it's only his dumb opinion that's being heard.
In recent years, we've created this cult of the TV interview hosts that has outspoken views, and the trouble is the viewers love them.
Yeah, but
they're almost egging them on to say something controversial, and so eventually, of course, they will. That's what keeps them in the spotlight.
But you
could argue that Trump was exactly the same before he ever ran for the presidency. The reason he was a successful, TV presenter was because of his absolutely outlandish and unacceptable views. But the public loved it.
But you don't know to what extent the public loves it. I think the media likes to push that, and then obviously the public watches it.
Well,
and then gradually enjoy it, which I think then just shows how...
Yeah, when I say the public loved it, I mean the viewing figures support the fact that there is a demand for it, and a high demand.
Anyway, in my eyes, it just seems that people should just be cautious of what the media are pushing out for people to watch. Teehee.
Like... You always have to question the media.
The fact that the BBC is now covered with minute-by-minute coverage of the funeral when there's potentially a war breaking out in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you could give...
Well, one of the things that saddens me is the demise of news on the BBC website, full stop. Yes, it may be tucked away in specialist corners of the BBC website, but... much of the default front page is about people in the media. There's very little international news. And as you rightly say, in the last week, it's been almost banner, Prince Philip this, Prince Philip that, memories, despite the fact that the world is in chaos. Human rights are on the brink in places like China. We potentially are facing a war between Russia, I'm not sure a war, but we're potentially looking at an invasion of Ukraine by Russia, etc., etc. Yet none of this is being discussed.
I remember very distinctly, because I took a picture of it, last year while the Black Lives Matter protests were happening. I went to the shop, and all the newspapers, guess what they had on the front page?
Sorry, we're talking about last summer. What did they have on the front page? I don't know. Somebody's dog dying.
All of them were about Madeleine McCann.
Oh, really? That resurfaced? I didn't even realise that resurfaced last year.
All of a sudden, none of them had anything to do about the Black Lives Matter protests, informative articles, nothing. They were all about, the front page was Madeleine McCann's face. I have a picture of it very specifically. I just thought that's shocking. That just shows what, these... Because most of the newspapers are kind of owned by bigger companies, aren't they?
Yeah.
It just shows where their positions are. Like, there was no need to reopen that case. The country has spent billions on that case.
Well, don't get me started on that one.
So I just thought, you know...
But the thing is, it's also turned into a media story of its own. What I mean by that, it's like this kind of historic unsolved crimes, you know, whatever happened to. And of course, it's ripe with all kinds of speculation, theories.
Oh, it's fine as a whole not fine. It's very intriguing to, you know, research it, but I'm like, there's something happening not only in the UK, not only in America, like there's protests within the UK. There's a massive conversation going on around this topic, and you're clearly ignoring it and not giving it the mainstream media coverage it deserves. Like, you're so deaf. And I don't know.
Yeah, well, the media...
like, fine, at the time...
particularly certain branches of the media will run what they like on the basis that they will deliberately sometimes keep news out of the headlines because they just don't want that being articulated. But that's happened, you know, throughout history.
Forever, yeah. But that's what because it wasn't like it was one paper running another issue of like, oh, we've reopened the case. Let's, you know, look back and discuss this great British unsolved mystery that was a media whirlwind over the time. Because I even remember it, and I was a kid. I remember like her face very distinctly, you know. But it was like 10 newspapers.
I think we should open the case against Jack the Ripper. And that has to be one of the biggest unsolved murder mysteries.
There's a documentary, maybe we should watch it. I wanted to watch it, but...
is it available now?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Oh, right, okay.
My problem with it is I sometimes like to watch these kind of crime series.
Yes.
But one thing that eases my mind is thinking that they're all in America. So I feel safe.
So far away. Oh, right.
So that's my sense of false security, that, that's all in America. It's all far away in America.
Jack the Ripper, if such a person did indeed exist and it was all done by the same person,
is
undoubtedly dead.
No, I know, but I don't know. It gives me a false sense of security of thinking, oh, it's all far away.
Right.
See, we were talking about false sense of security. That for me is a false sense of security of like, oh, it's all in America. Well, it's all far, far away from me.
The 19th century East End of London is far away, if you see what I mean.
Yeah. So, but I don't know much about the story. I kind of do, but I want to watch it.
Oh, I'm fascinated by them for various reasons.
So, what do you know about the story? Or maybe we should discuss, maybe next episode we should watch the documentary so that I have some input or I've done some research, because I don't know enough about it.
Well, there are certain key questions, and that is...
Was it one person?
Was it one person? And why did they suddenly stop?
They died, didn't they?
Well, yeah, but one doesn't know, that's the question. Or did they just simply move from the East London and set up elsewhere, which is another potential question.
But also...
Because serial killers very rarely stop, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but also, wasn't he like one of the first serial killers in the UK? Because it wasn't really a thing here, or did I... That's what I thought.
Certainly, possibly the one that gained
the press coverage,
absolute national, and for that matter, international attention.
Okay,
but
a bit like Ted
and a lot
Bundy.
of that was to do with the fact that the murders were particularly the later ones, were so horrific.
Ugh. No, I don't know much about them. Whereas I feel like you always hear about some American guy. Yeah, I should watch that. But I always wonder, what is it that makes us interested in these things? I don't like them too much, but sometimes I
think there's a human fascination with the macabre.
And I think,
And it takes us into an area where we almost can't imagine it, if you know what I mean.
yeah.
Um,
I can barely hurt a fly, so to me, even the thought of doing something like I can't hit it. I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
well, and it's also the fact that it's unsolved. It's a mystery.
Yeah, I think the mystery of it all.
And the mystery element, I think, is also something that appeals to the human psyche and imagination. But I don't know, I'm not a psychologist, but people get... I mean, there's a huge industry in publishing stuff about Jack the Ripper. And even to this day, I mean, it's big business, so to speak.
And why is that his name?
Oh, because...
Ripper.
Allegedly, he wrote a letter to the police and signed himself as Jack the Ripper. But whether or not that letter was written by the real killer is another matter. But a letter was written by Jack.
Jack. Captain Jack Sparrow. Remember this as the day that you almost caught...
Captain Jack Sparrow! Yes, now... yes, he of course is, and that's a kind of Robin Hood type figure. I mean, the reason we all like Captain Jack Sparrow is this kind of
because he's Johnny Depp.
well, he's Johnny Depp, and he's actually a very good actor playing an interesting character. But this kind of almost tragic villain who tries to be good. I don't know. It's a kind of, to me, it's a Robin Hood type character.
Jack the Ripper. We had one in Greece that I heard about where I lived. Oh, what did we call him? There was this kind of myth around it.
Yorgos.
No. You know, there's
Yorgos the Ripper.
No. And I think, I don't know what time it would, I think maybe I have to ask, but I just remember hearing about it as a kid and being scared that there'd be this guy in, you know how there's a bit of a forest? The forest is called Seichsu, and they'd call him like the wolf of Seichsu or something, because that's where he'd kind of wait for women.
Right.
And there was something else about, I don't know if it's the same person, about him not liking heels, the sound of heels. Or that's how he'd identify women, from the sound of heels.
I wouldn't have thought that hills make much sound in a forest.
Well, maybe that's why I'm not sure if it's the same story. I have to ask. I don't remember at all, but I kind of remember hearing about the wolf of Seichsu. And when I was young, I thought it was an actual wolf. I didn't realise.
Very few people actually go for walks in forests wearing high heel shoes.
Yeah, maybe they're not the same person. Maybe it's not. I don't remember. I'm maybe chatting absolute shit. So,
well, we'll have to look that one up.
But I'm just interested on how the names kind of come up.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. Ted Bundy, that's his real name.
I believe so, yes. Well, we had the Yorkshire Ripper, of course. You're probably too young to remember the Yorkshire Ripper.
Are they not the same?
No, the Yorkshire Ripper was from Yorkshire. Jack the Ripper was from
I thought they were the
19th
same
century
person.
London. Completely different people, completely different places, completely different eras.
Oh, maybe the documentary. Let me just check which one. You can talk and I'll check which one the documentary is on.
Oh, maybe it's on the... Oh, I think you're talking about the Yorkshire Ripper, because I think Peter Sutcliffe...
Let me just...
I think that's his name. Because I think there was something on the Yorkshire Ripper that I saw.
It says the Ripper.
Right.
Yeah, the Yorkshire Ripper.
Oh. Okay,
So what's the difference then?
Well, as I said, time, place.
Oh, I get that, but I mean, do they know who he is? Is there still a mystery?
The Yorkshire Ripper was caught and tried.
Okay, right. Well, shall we watch that then? It's 4 episodes. And then maybe discuss if people want to hear about...
Okay.
Or we can talk about true crime.
You got me all excited for a moment. I thought we were going to watch something on Jack the Ripper.
I don't know if there is. There might be. I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure there's lots out there on Jack the Ripper, but I haven't seen a documentary.
Maybe we should have a
recently.
true crime episode.
Yeah.
Crime Junkies.
Yeah.
That's a podcast. I don't know if
That
you...
is a podcast, so you just made that up.
No, it is a podcast.
Oh.
Crime
I'd
Junkies.
quite like to watch that.
2 American women, and they talk about various true crime cases.
Oh. We could talk about true historical crimes.
Yeah.
Unsolved ones. Or, well, for that matter, solved ones as well.
Yeah, horrid history.
Oh, don't get me on horrid history. I can't stand
okay.
horrid history.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we've talked about. We've talked about various
We've
things.
talked about anything. We've talked about Prince Philip, I think, and Prince Andrew. I think Trump got a mention along the way. Oh,
Do you think Epstein is actually dead? You didn't watch the Epstein documentary, did you?
No. To be honest, I haven't really thought about it.
You should watch the Epstein documentary. There's been some conspiracies that he's faked his own death.
Yeah, well...
But there's always that kind of case with celebrities, isn't there? They always
Indeed.
kind of have this.
Yeah.
Because there was like...
Elvis is still alive, you know.
Because they were like, there's activity on his island, so he could have just buggered off to his island.
Yeah, but I think that's a fairly obvious thing. I mean, if people are going to be watching for him, you would have thought that actually, where he lives might be a good place to start.
Well, that's not where he lives. He just...
Yeah, I know, but he owns the bloody island. I mean,
So what's going on with his island now? If he owns it, then...
well,
Has the FBI, just gone and checked everything out now?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But normally when somebody dies, obviously it depends whether they die intestate or whether or not they left a will. I can't imagine that he wouldn't have left a will. So all of his wealth and possessions would have been passed on to somebody else.
But see, Ghislaine has been arrested.
What?
His partner is the one that's basically being tried.
So all of this will just be held by the courts at the moment.
See, I think this court case might be very interesting. Oh, and there was the whole thing. Don't you remember the judge or someone who was meant to be doing the trial? Her husband and son got shot.
No, I don't know. I've not.
Did you not hear about that?
I probably did, but I've not.
And that's where, it's a big... So that's why I think it stayed a bit out of the news, because the minute they kind of knew who the judge was, someone dressed up as a delivery guy tried to kill her, the judge, and killed her husband and child.
This is getting really, very sad for them, but this is getting more interesting.
But that's what I mean,
intriguing.
it seems to be... And I think it's because, basically, if they uncover everything about his case, they're going to uncover all these big important people, i.e. Trump, i.e. all these people that were connected, i.e. Prince Andrew.
Well, it sounds like almost a real life version of Line of Duty. Do you know what I'm talking about now?
No.
The nation is gripped, as I speak, by a TV series on BBC called Line of Duty, which is all about police corruption. And
Well, it
it's
is
been
about
going
corruption.
on, which has been going on for, I don't know, I think season 5, season 4, season 5, I think. And, the nation is gripped by this. And the point is that although this is fictional, it's all about how people are getting executed before they can give evidence and what have you.
Yeah. I think that story is crazy. Because it's so corrupt, and I think it involves so many high-up people that, of course, they don't want them to know.
Yeah, of course they do.
Politicians and, people that rule the world, and they don't want to come out as being pedophiles and being involved in a very big sex traffic ring.
Well, Line of Duty is very similar because at the heart of that is...
See, maybe the writers of Line of Duty knew about it, so they made a whole fake story about it.
Oh, yeah. So the Line of Duty first series goes back, years before Epstein, I think, blew up. But there are clear parallels. But and a very well written series.
Interesting, very interesting. Right, well, let us know if you want a true crime episode. I'm kind of invested now to do one where we discuss.
Yeah, I can talk about some true crimes of the past that have remained unsolved.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll do that. So anything else in the news that's come to your attention this week? I'm just trying to think.
COVID, but I'm not going to talk about COVID. I've had enough.
Well, indeed.
Canada suddenly has a lot of cases.
Indeed, very worryingly, their cases have overtaken the United States at the moment, if we believe the statistics.
I don't want to talk about COVID. I'm fed up with it.
Yeah,
I feel like everyone's reading the news, so it's kind of pointless to talk about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's important, but as you say, it's something that people are just simply fed up with.
Yeah.
They want
normality
back.
I don't think people, personally, I don't like to I already know this, so I don't necessarily want it to be a topic of discussion. I'd rather talk about something else.
Yeah, well, come then. Something else is not COVID.
Well, we've got enough time, so we can just. Have you got a joke?
You've got a joke?
Have you?
Oh, blimey. No. Sorry, you should be a bit proud.
I was going to say, I feel like I haven't heard any jokes recently.
Maybe it's the times in which we live.
Since Christmas, we had the ones in the Christmas thing, obviously. No one tells jokes anymore.
Well, yeah, but it's possibly because... no, that's not true. There's lots of jokes on social media.
Yeah, there's stand-up and stuff, but I feel like no one has... Or maybe it's more of a childish thing where you're like, knock, knock, who's there? Interrupting.
Yeah, that is a childish thing.
Interrupting starfish.
Yeah, no, that is a childish thing. That's because you're not 11 and you don't go to junior school anymore.
That's upsetting.
And also, when there are two of us just living together, it's probably unusual. I'm just going to say, yeah, a joke, if you see what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess jokes are more stories now. I have a funny story.
Go on then, funny story.
When you work, sometimes I don't sneak up on you. I think I just walk lightly because I'm a light, delicate lady. Or
and I'm concentrating on what
and
I'm
you're
doing.
concentrating on what you're doing, and I just come in and I'm like, would you like some water or something? And you jump up. And the funniest thing for me is how you put your hands up like you're being arrested for something. Your hands just fly up and you go, ah!
Sorry, you think that's funny? You've actually given me a heart attack.
I think it's funny because I don't do it intentionally at all. And it's happened a few times, so I now have to kind of stump a bit more intentionally. I kind of make noise before I come in.
Well, you could just knock on the door like a civilized person.
I think it's so funny. Your face and your arms in the air. Maybe I should take a video of it one time.
Oh, that'd be... Oh, you can put it on TikTok so everybody can enjoy it as well. I'm quite sure it'll be a TikTok hit. You know, how to give your father a heart attack. Maybe you could wait until I'm drinking a hot beverage and that could just scald me at the same time. I'm glad you see it as funny. Remind me to creep up behind you with a balloon and pierce it.
Well, and recently I've been more jumpy, whereas I've never really been a jumpy person.
Why have you been jumpy? What are you talking about?
Our neighbours will sometimes knock on the window and I'll jump.
Oh, well, again, that's because one can't see them.
Yeah, because I can't see them, then I just randomly see a face in the window.
Which I am now, which is a very nice place to sit because it's light. You can't see behind you. You can't see what's going on in the world outside. I mean, I do that. One of our neighbours knocked on the window the other day.
I know.
I'm lucky I wasn't drinking a cup of tea or something at the time.
Well, I choked the other day because I was chewing on something and they knocked on the window and I almost choked. But yeah, I feel like I've been really jumpy with that, whereas I don't think I'm a very jumpy person.
I know what I'm going to do. Next time you're working at your desk upstairs, I'm going to creep out and get the broom and tap on the window next to you.
We can have pranks.
Pranks that we can play on one another. And this is really back into TikTok land, because I said to you when we were talking about TikTok before, it seemed to be a lot of it was about pranks being played on people. So there we go. Yeah,
that's boring to me. Most of them.
You just said you wanted to film it, and
yeah, but I know, but that's because it's your genuine reaction. And as I said, I don't do it on purpose. That's the funny thing, is that I don't even do it on purpose.
Well, I'm beginning to feel a bit suspicious now.
No, well, now on purpose I've been loud so that I won't scare you. That's just how nice I am. But yeah.
I think what I'm going to do tomorrow is come into your bedroom with a saucepan in the morning and clash the saucepans together, see how you react.
Have you seen, oh, you wouldn't have seen it, I'll show you. Some of the listeners, if they're my age, might know a Vine. There's this woman who does exactly that, and she's bashing these kind of saucepan and something. She's saying, I don't get no sleep because of y'all. You won't get no sleep because of me. And she's just banging them, and I think she's like on a show, like those shows where they all kind of Big Brother-esque, where they all kind of sleep in a house.
Right. Yeah, okay.
Something like that.
A reality show.
Anyway.
Virtual. Oh, I know.
That was my joke. Do you have a joke?
Sorry, it wasn't a joke. Sorry, what's the punchline of the joke? Yeah.
Seeing you jump up
room,
like a leaf.
Scare my father. Has heart attack. Yeah, that's a good punchline, isn't it?
You don't have a heart attack. Your heart's just practicing.
Yeah. Some say that those kind of shots is good for your heart.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
It's good. Get that pulse going. You jump up like a cat.
If you've seen the film Get Shorty.
No.
Do you know what I'm talking about? It's got John Travolta in it, who plays, well, it doesn't really matter what he plays, but it starts off with this kind of gangster type character in Florida who goes up to this room, and it's all dark, and what he doesn't realize is that there's a surprise party for him, and loads of people are standing in the room, and they suddenly turn the light on and start popping all of these balloons and poppers off, and he kills over and has a heart attack.
Really? Oh no.
Well, that's what it's like, you see.
All right.
Too many surprises if you get to a certain age are not necessarily very good.
I like surprises. Pleasant surprises. Right then.
So what's the surprise?
We don't have any more time. Enough.
That's the surprise, is it? The surprise is we're going to end here without actually having said anything at all this week, which is of any interest whatsoever.
Yeah, stop trying to pick a new topic. We've already exhausted about 20.
So that's it. We're going to end. And the big surprise that we haven't actually talked about anything. So goodbye, listeners. Thank you for listening. And
subscribe, follow, like, send us a message if you want. Do a little dance, make a little love, get down tonight. No, don't get down tonight. I was just thinking...
Have you been taking the funny pills again?
No, in my head I was saying it all in the kind of rhythm of like, subscribe, and it was kind of in the rhythm of the song of... Da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, I know the song.
Get down tonight.
Yeah.
Get down tonight.
Yeah.
No, don't do that. Stay away from people. Socially distance, you buffoons.
Absolutely.
I've been seeing videos of big cities where everyone's on top of each other.
On top of each other.
Not wearing masks. The UK and bloody masks. Why are people not wearing masks? Ugh. Anyway, wear your masks.
Yeah. And wash your mask as well.
And wash your hands. And stop. I think my problem is people going into each other's faces to talk to each other. It's that drunk person thing.
Yeah. Why do drunk people do that? It's like, it's so people forget to hear when they're drunk.
It would be the thing I hate the most during work, because they'd all just come up to me with their alcohol breaths, speaking right into my face. Ugh. Disgusting. Anyway.
And on that pleasant note, it's a goodbye from me and a goodbye from her.